Hello everyone. So in this video lecture we will start with different types of conformations of cyclohexane in terms of rings. How can we draw the conformers? So let's begin with some very basic concept of angle strain. Let's see how scientist Bayes described his Bayes strain theory and how he explained that among 3-member ring, 4-member ring, 5-member ring and 6-member ring, which ring will be most stable on which basis. So let's start. Bayes strain theory. It is also called as Bayes angle strain theory. Okay, so among 3-member ring, 4-member ring, 5-member ring and 6-member ring, if we will consider this one, this is your cyclopropane, this is cyclobutane, this is cyclopentane and this is cyclohexane. Now as per Bayes strain theory, what he considered these molecules as rigid structure, right? When we say rigid structure, it means if I am saying cyclopropane, so it is in the plane itself, right? If I am saying cyclohexane, it is all the atoms are in that plane only. So if I'll consider these structures as rigid, so first of all, let's get the interior angles of these structures. Okay, so using, if they are considered as rigid, so I can simply use the mathematical concept of polygons. So you can see here it as hexagon, pentagon, like that. Okay, so this is trigonal, tetragonal. So simply in these 4 cases we can calculate the interior angles in each of these rings, right? So in case of polygons, to calculate the internal angles of a polygon having n sides and n congruent interior angles, it is given by n minus 2 into 180 degree divided by n. So suppose if I say this 3-membered ring cyclopropane, but if I'll consider this as simply a triangle sort of, okay, all the 3 sides are similar and all the 3 angles are similar. So here n equals to 3. So 3 minus 2 will be 1 into 180 upon 3, that will be simply 60 degree. So here all the angles, as I am saying n congruent angles, 3 sides, this side and this side, and similarly 3 interior angles, and all the angles are similar. So this angle is your 60 degree, right? Similarly for this, here I am saying n equals to 3, right? Here I am saying n equals to 4 sides. So here the interior angle will be 4 minus 2, that is 2 into 180, that is 360 upon 4, that will be your 90 degree. Okay, this angle. Next, here n equals to 5. So for n equals to 5 sides, 5 interior angles, this angle will be 5 minus 2, that is 3 into 180 upon n. This comes out to be approximately exactly 108 degree, right? And last, here n equals to 6. So 6 minus 2 is 4 into 180 upon 6. So 180 by 6 is your 30 and 30 into 4 is 120. So all these angles are equal and 120 degree. So first of all, I have explained the interior angles of these cyclic structures, considering them as rigid, what Bayes used in his theory. So according to this, 3-member ring will be having interior angle 60 degree, 90 degree, 108 degree, and this one will be 120 degree. Now, I think now you have understood how these bond angles are calculated and how he observed these interior angles. So accordingly, now what he did, he explained that if this is cyclopropane, so this is a carbon, and the carbon, as we know, it is tetravalent, it is forming 4 bonds. So if it is forming 4 bonds, then it must be having tetrahedral geometry, means hybridization will be sp3, and accordingly we can say the interior angle or that carbon must have 109 degree 28 minute. But if you will see, I think students, you must have noted this entire portion. So I am cleaning this. If you have not noted yet, so just pause the video. First note this entire portion so I can continue. Okay. Now let's understand, as per Bayes strain theory, cyclopropane, this angle as we calculated, it is 60 degree here, it is 90 degree here, it is 108 degree here, and this one is 120 degree. So these are the calculated angles, right? Okay, but carbon atom, which is sp3, bond angle must be 109 degree and 28 minute, right? So if I'll see, the bond angle should have been 109 degree 28 minute, but here it is 60 degree. So you can see there is a very high angle of strain, right? Now if I'll consider the strain, it is actually due to this both the bonds, and the deviation is due to from this side as well as this side, both sides. So the deviation in angle must be what it should have been minus what it is seen upon 2. Here it is 109 degree 28 minute minus 90 degree by 2. Here it is 109 degree 28 minute minus 108 degree by 2. I am telling you how far it is having deviation considering each bond, right? Otherwise you can simply say it should have been 109 degree 28 minute, but it is 60 degree. So you can see, suppose I am telling 110 and it is 60, so there is a difference of 50 degree. So it's a big strain inside the ring. Similarly here, this deviation will be 109 degree 28 minute minus 120 degree. In negative side there is a deviation, right? So as per it should have been, the angle is actually higher, but in all these 3 cases the angle observed is lower. Here the angle observed is higher as compared to 109 degree 28 minute. So these are the deviations. If I will see the values, simply it is approximately 25, right? Suppose you can say it 110, 50 by 2, 25. It is nearly 110 minus 90, that is 10. It is approximately 110, and this is 1, and this one is approximately minus 5, right? So if we will observe where the minimum strain is observed, if the angle strain is minimum, the deviation is minimum, then that ring must be most stable. Accordingly, what Bayes strain theory says, from these calculations, that 5-member ring must be most stable. Okay, cyclopentane is most stable among cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane and cyclohexane. Clear? Stability order as per deviation and strain observed. What we can say? 3-member ring is least stable, then 4-member, then 6-member, then 5-membered rings. Okay, so students, you have to understand, if you are asked which ring is most stable among 3-member, 4-member, 5-member and 6-member, according to Beer-Engelstein theory, then it should be 5-membered ring is most stable, then you say 6-membered ring, then you say 4-member ring, then you say 3-member ring. Okay, now the main purpose of this study is, as per Beer-Stein, 5-member ring is most stable, but practically it is observed that 6-membered ring is most stable among all these. Means the actual order experimentally observed is 6-member ring, then 5-member ring, then 4-member, then 3-member. Means there must be something missing. Okay, so let's think about it. Experimentally stability order in rings six-membered is more stable than 5-membered, then 4-membered, then 3-membered. Okay, so here experimentally this was the observation. Now this angle, as we studied, 60-degree internal, 90-degree internal, 108-degree internal, and this one was 120-degree. But we found that cyclohexane actually won't exist in this rigid form, as it is carbon. So if you will say the 6 carbons in the same plane, that is not possible. Okay, so this cyclohexane, this ring conformation exists in various conformers, right? And the most stable form is chair form. Yes, the normal chair which we use for sitting, that chair conformer. Chair form is having 109-degree, approximately very nearby to what it should have been as per sp3 hybridization. As per sp3, it should be 109-degree 28 minute, and in chair conformer it was observed that it is approximately same. So that's why we say that it is most stable form, right? As per conformers of cyclohexane. So let's study in detail about conformers of cyclohexane. As we have already discussed, it is not possible to rotate a single bond in ring, right? A single bond cannot be rotated, but we can observe here that cyclohexane is totally not in the rigid form, but it is totally different from what it is expected. So let's study the chair form. If I will simply draw chair form, first of all, observe this as a chair. Simply if I will say, suppose one person is sitting over here, right? You can just observe it like that. If you can just imagine it, you can see that it is a chair conformation, right? So in this chair conformation, just for an example, So you can see here, this is the chair structure of cyclohexane. You can see here, this is one carbon, this is another carbon, this is another carbon, this is another. So these peak points are 6 carbons. 1, 2, 3. For perfect numbering, you can say here 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it is having 6 carbons. Correspondingly, you can also see every carbon is tetrahedrally oriented. Accordingly, it must be having 2 V-shaped, and both V-shaped are on different sides. Accordingly, you are having this V-shaped 2 bonds of carbon-carbon here. So there must be 2 another bonds that must be in different sides. So I can just draw it like that. Okay. Similarly here as well, HH. So this is your cyclohexane chair form. Okay. Now I am explaining a few important terms regarding this chair form. So first is your axial, second is your equatorial positions. Now what are these axial and equatorial positions? So first consider with an example. See, I am taking an example of this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is actually 1-methyl cyclohexane. Okay, in this 1-methyl cyclohexane, you can see this carbon is having 2 different positions. So this position is your called axial position. Okay, and this position, this part, this one is called your equatorial position, right? So if we consider this 1-methyl cyclohexane, it is observed that it also continuously interconvert in one form into another form. Means this axial position goes into equatorial position and equatorial into axial. Accordingly, these exist in equilibrium with each other due to interconversion. Here it was axial, here it is equatorial, and now this is axial. Now you can think that on this interconversion, axial part goes into equatorial part and equatorial part goes into axial part. Means this is a change in conformation in one form into another form. So this is simply called your flipping. Flip means it was in this format, it flipped into this format. Simply you can understand it as this is a chair form. See, this side and this side. Now this is flipping in this way. So from one form of chair into another form of chair. So there occurs flipping, interconversion among one another. So due to that flipping, equatorial part goes into axial part and axial part goes into equatorial part, right? Now what is the difference if I will consider as per energy? In terms of energy, it has been observed that this is 1 and this is 2. As per the data, if I will say this structure 1-methyl cyclohexane where CH3 exists in equatorial position is approximately 7.6 kilojoule per mole more stable than first. So you can understand that according to energy terms as well, equatorial position occupies better stability. If a bulky group occupies equatorial position, then it will be more stable. In another terms, if we will say the three-dimensional arrangement, then we can observe that when the bulky groups are in equatorial positions, then they are least hindered. Okay, so let's first learn how to draw the chair conformer. I'll be teaching you point by point, and you must observe first, then you must draw in your copy step by step, because this is one of the most important part. If I'll see the previous years questions in JEE Advanced, JEE Main as well as NEET, there are certain questions which have been asked in past many years and many times. Okay, so it is one of the important part. So learn how to make the chair conformer. How to make chair conformer. Okay, see, first we have to draw two parallel lines a bit bent towards this side. Okay, now this is your a bit distance and this will be your short as compared to this one. Now this is parallel to this one. Again, this line will be parallel to this line and this is parallel to this line. Now simply if you observe this as a chair, one form of chair. Okay, now in this chair form there are two positions, as I already told. This is your hydrogen in axial position and this is your hydrogen in equatorial position. So for memory, you can understand or always consider this carbon as your first carbon. I am taking it as a first point. Okay, so this will be your first one. Then you can number here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now understand, every position must be having two hydrogens. One will be in axial part, another will be in equatorial part. So first of all, I am drawing the equatorial part. Okay. So listen, it is axial part and if you will see, it is upward and this is downward or downside. Okay, so here I am using two terms, up, down. Again I am using towards axial, equatorial, right? This is not Ha, it is actually hydrogen in axial part, and this is not He, this is simply hydrogen in equatorial part. Okay, so first I am drawing equatorial positions. So this is your reference part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So start with first carbon. As I am saying, this will consider this one as first carbon. So downside will be equatorial. So this is down. Now just consider this thing. You start from first carbon, downside will be equatorial. So continue with interchanging the positions. If it is in down, next will be up, down, up, down, up. So all these are equatorial positions. Again I am repeating, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now this is hydrogen, equatorial, hydrogen, equatorial, hydrogen, equatorial. So all these hydrogens are in equatorial positions. Clear? These are all equatorial part. Now I am drawing axial part. Here I started with downside and repeated on alternate positions, up down like that. Again I will start here with up positions. As you can see, up position is your axial part. So this is your up, down, up, down, up, down. In 3 dimension, when you observe, this is not crossing this carbon, this is actually different. This atom is this side. So you are having this hydrogen here, H, 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 right? So you can now see these are all axial positions. So again I am repeating, start from upside, up, down, up, down, up, down. So now observe these two. This is your down position from first carbon. This is your up position from first carbon. 1. Okay. Now from second, up, here down. from third up and here down. As you see, it must be having both positions up and down in each carbon. So this is your fourth down and fourth up. Now this is your 5 up, 5 down. Now this is your 6 down and this is your 6 up. Okay, so once again I am repeating. I started with this carbon. I have taken this point as the reference point or first carbon. Upside is your axial, downside is here towards equatorial. Starting from first, down, up, down, up, down, up. That will be your equatorial positions. Starting from up, down, up, down, up, down. That is your axial positions. Okay. Now I am drawing all the positions, including all the hydrogen atoms in axial and equatorial positions. Now understand it very carefully. Now look at it, a chair form. First of all, I will draw equatorial. Start from this one, down, up, down, up, down, up. These are all your equatorial hydrogen atoms. Now let's take up, down, up, down, up, down. These are your axial positions. So if I'll make marking, and this one is your A, now let's observe a few points in this structure. Okay, if we will see this equatorial part and this equatorial part, you may come across a thought that, sir, in this structure they are nearby each other, so there must be repulsion. Then how can we say that equatorial position is more stable? So understand, when you will observe this chair conformer in 3 dimension, then you will find that this hydrogen and this hydrogen are not actually in same sides, they are actually in different sides. Okay, so there is no as such repulsion. Okay, but the main point of observation lies here. Just observe that this one position, one carbon, this 3 carbon and this 5 carbon, 1 3 5, here this 1 number of hydrogen, this 3 number of hydrogen and this 5 number of hydrogen, there exists some sort of repulsion. Okay, here you are having this 1 3 diaxial repulsion, again you are having 1 5 diaxial repulsion. So that's why when you keep bulky groups in axial positions in 1 3 or 1 5, or simply you may say here you are having any group, correspondingly here you are having bulky groups in 3 and 5, then 3 5, so you are having 1 3 1 5 diaxial repulsions. Okay, so I hope you must have noted it down and you have understand all these parts. Okay, so let's start with our examples. Now let's see flipping in conformations and K equilibrium. Now what is K equilibrium? That is equilibrium constant. So why equilibrium constant? So we can observe in case of conformations, when one conformer is converted into another form due to flipping, then they exist in equilibrium with each other. So now if same compound exists in 2 different forms in equilibrium, then there must be some variations if we will observe. So let's see. Suppose this is methyl and this is hydrogen. I am starting with a very basic concept. You can understand here, if this you can say this is 1, so this methyl is in axial position and this hydrogen in equatorial position. So after flipping, what will happen? If I am saying the equilibrium constant for this interconversion or conformational change is K equilibrium or simply K, then you can understand on flipping this axial will go into equatorial position. So here this methyl was in axial, now it is going into equatorial, and this hydrogen earlier it was in equatorial, now it is in axial part. So I can say if same compound is having axial and in another conformer equatorial part, so we can understand which one will be more stable, the one which is having bulky group in equatorial position, so this will be more stable. So if this will be more stable, then I can say at equilibrium the concentration of product part or the part in which bulky group is in equatorial position will be more at equilibrium. So if I say concentration K equilibrium equals to concentration of product upon concentration of reactant, here I can see that concentration of product or equatorial part will be greater than concentration of reactant or axial part, because stability of product part is greater than reactant part or equatorial part bulky group or axial part bulky group. So we can say for this K greater than 1. Okay, so you will come across such cases or such questions, so you have to understand here the importance of K equilibrium. Okay, so let's take some examples. Now understand, if you are given these 4 cases, first, second, third and fourth, you can see in all the 4 cases cyclohexane is having here methyl, here ethyl, here propyl and here butyl, right? So in all the 4 cases, all these mono-substituted groups are at axial positions. It is in axial position, it is also in axial, it is also in axial, it is also in axial. So first of all, if I will consider K1 or K2 or K3, or this will be your K4, right? This is your K4. So when first is undergoing interconversion from one conformer into another conformer, then it will form this mono-substituted part in equatorial part. So I can confirm K1 must be greater than 1. Again, when this will be flipping, then ET will be going into equatorial part, so K2 greater than 1. Again similarly this axial will go into equatorial, K3 greater than 1. Now this one K4 greater than 1. But here my question is, what is the order of K1, K2, K3, K4? Which will be more? So how will you compare? Because all the 4 groups are different, we cannot compare as such. Okay, so think over it. Okay, so students, you have to understand, the more bulkier group, if at equatorial position, then it will be more stable. Accordingly, if it is at axial position, it will be highly unstable. So the concentration of a substance which is having more bulky group at axial position will be very, very less. Means in all these 4 cases, the conversion from this part to the next part will be maximum in this case, because it is having most bulkiest group among all these 4. So here the concentration of product part as per this will be maximum. So I can simply say that K4 is greater than K3 greater than K2 greater than K1. Means if this reactant part and product part both are existing at equilibrium, then the interconversion from one form axial part to equatorial part will be maximum in the case where most bulky group lies at axial position. So this is the most bulkiest group, so here conversion will be maximum, so K4 will be maximum. Okay, so let's take another example. Draw most stable conformers of first 1,2-dimethyl cyclohexane. Now if you will see 1,2-dimethyl cyclohexane, then this is simply disubstituted ring. Okay, 6-membered ring, disubstituted. So if I'll draw it in rigid form, then you will be saying this is methyl and this is methyl, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In cyclohexane you are having 1,2-dimethyl. Okay, so let's draw first of all the 4 possible cases of conformers. See, I have drawn just cyclohexane. In first case, let's take both methyl downside. Okay. In second case, let's take both methyl upside. In third case, let's take this methyl downside and this methyl upside. Okay. So what I have done, I am marking down, down, up, up, right? Here it is down and this is up. And next part I am telling, here it will be up and this will be down. Okay. It will be up and this will be your down. No. Methyl here. Okay. Now observe all the 4 cases first of all. Here one thing is, as you know, this is your first carbon and this is down. So down means equatorial. Equatorial, right? Down, up. If it would have been in up, then it would have been again equatorial. So here you can observe this is your equatorial, down, up, equatorial. Again, I am just marking all in white circle, all the equatorial. This is your equatorial, down. This is your equatorial. If you will say here down, then this will be up. So this is your equatorial. Now these are in equatorial. Now I am marking axial positions. This is down, this is up. So this is your axial, axial, axial. This is your axial. Okay. So if we have to check which one is most stable, so you can simply say if both the bulky groups, means both the methyls are in equatorial position, then that will be most stable. So among this first, second, third and fourth, I can say fourth is most stable because both are in axial position. Then I have to check if I'll say first and if I'll say second. You can just observe here, both are almost similar. Why similar? Because both are methyls. In first case, this one number is in equatorial, second in axial. In second case, first in axial and second in equatorial. As both the groups are same, so you can say first and second are actually same, almost similar, right? So after fourth, you can say 1 equals to 2 because in both the cases, one group in equatorial and one in axial. And then last, third, where you are seeing that both the groups in axial part, right? So this was a simple example of how to check which one is most stable and which one is least stable. So the most stable part which you are asked for this structure will be this form. Okay, I think it is clear. So next check cis trans form in given conformers. Now here, if you are given different conformers, then you have to find whether the given form is cis form or trans form. So here you can understand we are making the application of cis trans in conformation, right? So first, okay, so let's check one by one. Now here I have told you two different concepts. One was about axial and equatorial positions, and another thing was up and down positions. So what I will be using for cis trans will be up and down positions. Simply you have to think, if one is in down part and another will be in up parts, so one is downside, another will be upside, so simply it is transform. If both are in down position or both are in up position, then it will be mandatory in cis position. So simply you can think here, it is down and it is, don't take it as deuterium, right? It is down and it is up, so this will be your trans. Now this is your up, this is your down, so simply you can say it is your up and down, so this is your trans. Now check this one, this is down and this is also down, so this is your trans. This is down because upside will be this side, and this is down, so this is your cis form. This is down and this is down. Wait, this is down and this is down, so this will be your cis part. So simply I can say, if both the groups are not on same side, it will be trans, just like here up and down, so it is trans. If both the groups are same side, so it is like down and this is down, so it is cis. It is again down and down. So if both are down or both are up, you can say it is in cis form, right? Both are in different sides, trans, both are in same side, cis. Now the question arises, what about their stability and everything? So that is a different part. Don't confuse with conformation and configuration. This I have asked about configuration, right? Okay, so I can also check here axial and equatorial positions in given structures. If I'll check, this is your down. From starting position, down will be your equatorial, down, up, equatorial. Okay, so if I'll see in this 1,2 disubstituted cyclohexane, this is the most stable form. Here I can say, so this is your axial, this is your equatorial, this is your equatorial, this is your axial. So here, if you will be asked whether this form is equatorial or axial, so I have given you the marking as per what I have already taught you in the last example. Okay, so now using configuration and conformer both side by side. Now you are asked to draw the most stable form of 1,3-dimethyl cyclohexane cis form. Okay, so just to let you understand in brief, I am explaining all the four parts first of all. If I draw the rigid part, it is 1-methyl and this is, so this is 1, this is 2, 3. So this is methyl and methyl. Okay, so simply this is 1, methyl. Okay, suppose I am taking here up and up, right? Up, down, down, up, down, down. So all the four cases I have drawn. Now first of all check which one is cis and which one is trans. Up, up, so it is your cis, you can consider this. Up and down, not considered. Down and up, not considered. Down, down, okay, this will be considered. So now the two cases are already cancelled. Among these two cases, now you have to consider which will be the more stable, because you have not been asked to calculate to find 1,3-dimethyl-cyclohexane. You are asked most stable form of cis 1,3-dimethyl-cyclohexane. So among these two, because this is cis form and this is cis form, okay, this is trans, this is trans. So among these two, just look at this. This is axial and this is axial. Here equatorial. So these two are already neglected. Among these two, you can simply understand here both are in axial position, here both are in equatorial position. So definitely where both are in equatorial position will be most stable form. So your cis among these two most stable will be this structure, right? So if I'll ask 1, 2, 3 and 4, now understand all the things which are asked in this question. First part, most stable cis, this compound, okay, given form. Then your answer will be fourth, because you will consider 1 and 4. Second, most stable trans. Suppose if you have been asked trans 1,3-dimethyl-cyclohexane, so you have to consider second and third. Now in that case you can see here axial equatorial, equatorial axial, and both methyls are similar. So you can say second equals to third. Now if you will be asked among 1,3-dimethyl-cyclohexane, order of stability among all four conformers, then you can see here when both equatorial means fourth will be stable, then second equals to third, and then finally first, because in first both are in axial position. Okay, I think you have noted it down. So next come to next question. Trans 1-ethyl 2-methyl-cyclohexane. Trans 1-ethyl 2-methyl-cyclohexane. So if I draw here 1-ethyl, suppose I am taking it ethyl in dash position, so 2 in wedge position. Okay, so let's draw. First of all, here you are asked transform. So if ethylene down, then methylene up, or ethylene up, then methylene down. So I am just drawing the two possible cases. Down, up, ET-ME. Up, and this will be down. The two cases you can see, these are the transforms. Okay, this is your down, this is your up, so it is trans. Now if you will see equatorial and axial, so this is equatorial, this is also equatorial, here it is axial, here it is axial. So you can simply understand among these two structures which is more stable. This is more stable. Okay, now if I will say what about the other two forms, that will be cis form. You can just understand here down and down, so both are down, so this is your cis form. Up, up, so this is also cis form. The other two structures, so if I'll just make it numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again I am checking all the 4 possibilities. So most stable among 4. Among these 4, which one is most stable? Both equatorial, both axial. Here it is equatorial, axial, axial, equatorial. So you can say most stable among 4 will be both equatorial. First, as per your requirement, this was your answer as per this question, right? Now if we'll say order of stability, now this you need to understand, because this is one of the best example to make you understand about equatorial and axial positions. Among these 4 cases, you have to understand when both are in equatorial, that will be most stable, but now when both axial, that will be least stable. So second will be least stable. Now the question arises, among third and fourth, which will be more stable? Because the groups are not same. Here equatorial ethyl, here equatorial methyl. Now you have to consider which one is more bulky. Here ethyl is more bulky group. So the more bulky group occupying equatorial position will be more stable. So here third will be more stable, and then comes your fourth. Okay. So in third and fourth, third is having ethyl in equatorial and fourth is having methyl in equatorial. So more bulky group in equatorial position, so that is more stable. Okay, I think you have understood this thing. So let's take the last example. Draw most stable form of 1-bromo 4-tertiary butyl cyclohexane, and second you have to draw cyclohexane 1,3-diol. Okay, so I am starting with first part. 1-bromo, first of all let's take 1-bromo 1 and 4, 1 2 3 4. This is having tertiary butyl, means this carbon is having CMe3 group. Okay, this is your 4. Now if I'll say this bromo downside, okay, Br, so this is equatorial. So this CMe3, now here it is downside. Okay, now understand this part also. Downside, this is equatorial, this is also equatorial, and this is your upside. Okay, so if I'll see, this is 1 2 3 4. If I'll consider this side 1 2 3 4, that is also okay. So this is 1-bromo 4-tertiary butyl cyclohexane. In this case, both in equatorial position, so this is the most stable form. Okay, if you will be asked whether it is cis or trans, it is down, it is up, so it is your trans form, right? So this was your answer to this question. Now let's answer next part. This one, cyclohexane 1,3-diol, 1 OH 1 2 3. This is also having OH. Now here what happens is, I have already discussed you. Suppose this will be your OH, right? 1 2 3, and this is OH. Earlier I told you there will be 1,3-diaxial repulsion, right? Why? Because the most bulky group come across each other, then there will be repulsion among each other. But when there are such cases where both the groups are having attractive forces for each other, just like here you can say this oxygen can make hydrogen bonding with another hydrogen of OH. So in such cases, it is not diaxial repulsion, rather it is diaxial attraction. Hence, it is 1,3 diaxial attraction here. So this is your most stable form, right? Now you can see here it is axial part, this is also axial part, both are in axial part, but still it is most stable form. Why? Due to hydrogen bonding. Okay, I think I've explained all the topics, including how to draw conformations in chair form, how to check cis and trans isomerism in di-substituted or various substituted compounds in case of 6-membered ring. Also, I have explained you how to draw chair conformer, axial and equatorial positions, about flipping, about K equilibrium, about how to draw diaxial repulsion or attraction in different compounds. Okay, so I think you must have, everyone must have noted everything, you have understood everything. If you have not understood anything, you can go through the video again, note it down. Students, it is one of the most important part. And now in our next lecture, we will continue and complete this topic of conformations. Okay then, see you next turn.